Hello, my name is Justin Bright, and welcome to Kerbal Space Program version 1.3, where I am attempting to make Kerbals a multiplanetary species. In this case, by landing our 3 Kerbals down on the surface of Duna that we had brought in from orbit. Yes, indeed, they were the Kerbals that we had up in orbit for quite a long time, hanging out on the Starlifter shuttle. And they've been just kind of hanging out in their plush hab ring, but we've brought them down to do some work now, and we get right back to where we left off in getting them to the new base. Okay, so let's move on over to the Caribou Supply Crawler, which is autonomous and full of the tools that we will need to do what I'm about to do, which is destroy things. So we are going to drive on over to pick up the new crew, which is right over here. And the vessel peels out as it begins driving, and I realize I should probably slow down a little bit. I don't actually want to drive unsafely. Remember, it is incredibly challenging to get new equipment out to Duna, which is part of the excitement of, you know... Ooh, careful, easy with the fishtailing there. This robot is not a safe driver. I take no responsibility for what's happening here. But yeah, that's part of the excitement of these, you know, big colonization missions, is you're sending out like all this stuff and equipment, and if it's not enough, if it's not what you need, if you break something that you were going to be relying on, then you're out of luck. Like, there's not much that you can do to fix it until you get to a point where you're like really self-sustainable, able to build things, but that's something that is a long way off for us here on Duna. So, alright, so the supply crawler is crawling its way forward. We are going to be braking very close to the this landed vessel here, and then I'm actually going to be able to tear it down and take all of the resources and use it for other things, because this thing is not getting back off of Duna, that's for sure. Alright, so we are coming up close, 25, 20... 15 meters. That seems fine. They can walk a little bit. So let's switch back over. Whoa! Whoa, 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 whoa! What the heck? Why? Why is the engine on? The throttle's at 0. Okay, so let's reload the game. Okay, so we are going to try that one more time. I don't take responsibility for whatever the heck just happened there, but I am going to shut down this engine. I'm betting that our more eagle-eyed, my more eagle-eyed viewers are going to say, "Aha, Justin, I saw it. I saw what happened there. I saw that you pressed the Z key." So I'm sure it was something like that. So, let me just get this back over, and hopefully there will be no more explosions. Okay, see, look at that. Look at that. I didn't press the Z key. I don't think I did. But the throttle was at maximum, so that we would have had a lovely repeat. Is it? I have no idea. I don't know why that was happening, but we addressed the issue, and we're just going to leave it at that. That's exactly the kind of thing that I try to keep quick saves very frequently for, because I have no interest in living with that sort of mistake. I make plenty of mistakes without having to worry about that sort of thing. Does this actually have landing legs? No? Then why does it have this ladder? Like, I could climb down this ladder horizontally, and then we can just kind of go a really, really long way. Oh! I'm being goofy. This was once part of the ascent vehicle, so of course this has an incredibly long ladder. This was once actually used to bring Kerbals up to the command pod as they were leaving Duna for the first time. Alright, we have Merber Kerman inside the vessel. So now we just have 2 more to move over, which I will spare you the transit. All right, so Newly Kerman has grabbed a wrench, or the screwdriver, as well as a demolition charge, because we are going to be getting rid of this vessel because it doesn't do me any good, and we could use the material kits. So we are going to open up our planetary logistics, or local logistics. And let's see, this is the Duna ascent vehicle and the caribou supply crawler, all stuff we are going to move into the supply crawler because we don't need any of this stuff, and it just had those things, just some fuel, then that's it, very little, and then that's all we need for this. So we are just going to grab our explosives and staple that to the side here. And recycle vessel. Pauses for a moment, and then it explodes into a list of delicious material kits that we have gained, which is great. That's exactly what we wanted. Reduce my lag slightly and increase my resources slightly. That's the kind of bargain I like to be making. All right, the vessel has been recycled, and all of our Kerbals are on board, so let's F5. And now we are turning back around and heading back to the botany lab, where we will be disembarking all three of these Kerbals, and they will be the first permanent residents on Duna. They have left the cushy and incredibly cushy, like the most, it's got to be the most amazing place you've ever seen. But they've left that place in orbit, and they are now headed down to the base, where they will be actually, you know, doing some work for once. Maybe that's why the space station is so nice, because they aren't expected to do any work. They just have freeze-dried packets of food and delicious regrown algae for ever and ever and ever. But this actually makes it easier on the other three Kerbals that are up, stuck in orbit with no descent vehicle, because they are now dividing the food by 3 instead of by 6, which is, you know, lovely for those sorts of issues. So we are now pulling up to the base. I'm actually going to drive around to the front where the actual airlock is, and then we can bring these Kerbals out and get them on board. Doing a little bit of parallel parking here, and then stop and brakes, and we are going to have Durless Kerman jump out, and what I would like to do now is run this individual over to the base, and then we are going to get back to what I was trying to do to begin with. Alright, Durless Kerman has boarded the vessel, and now he is going to be moved over to the Pioneer Logistics module, which is this tower here in the middle. I said which is this tower here in the middle. Oh Lord. Okay, so now he is on board and inside the Pioneer Logistics module, so hopefully we are going to be able to get that sort of thing taken care of, by which I mean all of the lovely logistics that need to be done. However, it looks like we are going to be needing the power station here pretty quick. So I'm wondering if I deploy all the lights. If I deploy them without turning on the lights, do they draw power? Yes. So we are gaining electric charge. That was something that I was worried about. We are not going to be able to do habitation at this point, I don't think. Because we are starving. Yes, that is in fact the case of what is happening right now. But we could actually take a little bit from the Caribou Supply rover and the Geo rover and just kind of... Oops, where is it all going? Where is it going? Did they just eat all of the food? What just happened there? Okay, well, we have 30 days now. of supplies. Fabulous. Fantastic. I'm not sure what keeps happening to my supplies. It looks like it's all stashed somewhere on here where it is not actually accessible to local logistics. So I'm not sure what's going on with that, but that's probably okay. I'm not too worried about it. Let's go around and see what we can get activated on here before I get too crazy about things. We do not have a lot of electric charge, so I don't think we can start actually running anything because this whole network is based on getting power from one centralized location. So let's go back and look at what we have here. So out here in front, we have this agricultural module. What I'm going to do at this point is we are going to... those have to be extended from outside, that's fine, but we can deploy all of these lovelies out here that are going to be holding on to all the resources that we will be using. We have here in the center, we have just kind of a hub, nothing in it, that's fine. Then this is the Pioneer Logistics Module Tower, which has this command pod up on top that is going to be kind of our base of operations. We have our satellite dish open. We have a direct uplink to Kerbin. We're talking to BetterBurnTime, which is cool. Nothing to activate here. We have agricultural support modules and an assembly plant that we will be using to create colony supplies eventually. And this agricultural support module is going to be turning gypsum into fertilizer, and it is going to also be creating water at some point from hydrates if we end up digging up hydrates, which we may just to kind of supplement, but is not super necessary. Then these are just little logistics hubs where we have the different inflatable storage modules. Out this way we have another agricultural module to cultivate organics, because at some point that is going to be what we're doing here, as well as creating just supplies, and then agriculture for supplies. One of those two is for supplies and one of them is for organics. I don't remember which one is which. It's not really important. The industrial regolith sifter is just a little additional bit that I threw on the end because I like even numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4 modules, and that's going to actually dig up. I have some dirt drills that we're going to be using just to kind of get a sense of using everything. Out here we have our Kerbitat, which is very important. We have currently 80 days of habitation time. When we have power, we can activate this to get a whole lot more. And finally, Kerbitat and another Kerbitat. So that's super exciting. And then we have the drills that we have out here, additional habitation modules, and so forth, because this is intended to be the first base for many of our Kerbals. So that's it. This is actually active and ready to go as far as that's concerned. We have the basic setup kind of ready to go on this, where we don't have all of the fancy life support systems. Basically, it's not totally unpacked. We don't have everything up and running. All of the systems are not set up, but the air is on, the heat is on. They can now walk around inside this base without a spacesuit, so they have a place to live while they work. Fantastic. All right, so later that evening, our Kerbal engineers in the workshop have completed Duna Central, so it is time now to expand this and see how our next base facility works. Launch! Alright, the launching is complete and the base has been constructed, and our laggy camera pans slowly over to take a look at this, our second base. So, before we move on into actually checking that thing out, let's actually grab Newly Kerman any minute now to EVA from the base upside down. Did I put this airlock on upside down? I must have. Hold on a moment. Let's get that fixed. Oh my gosh, this is getting pretty laggy. So I'm And I only have 2 of these base bits constructed, so I'm becoming a little bit concerned about that. There we go. Now we've got this attached right side up, and the lag seems to have subsided at least a small amount. There probably was a lot of extra, processing and whatever that goes into these setting up these things. All right, and so we are jetpacking down to the front door of this base, which also does not actually have a ladder, which another oversight on my part, but we're able to jump up and grab it fairly easily, get on board. And now we have our first Kerbal inside the Duna Central base, which is going to go along very nicely, sitting next to the Botany Lab. So this is intended to be kind of the home base, and we can extend all of these lights. Said we can extend all of these lights. Okay, maybe not. We can deploy them in any case. Individually, that is fine. So let's just go through and have another kind of talk through of what this base is supposed to do. So we have more habitation modules next to the airlock and this cupola module, which is intended just to make this place a little bit more livable, provide some more views out onto the world, and kind of show off to our astronauts that are coming through this base. They get to kind of see the world, and this is where they're going to be recording their videos home and things like that. We have the big radar dish up on top of the same logistics module that we had on the other base is here. So yeah, we've got the power transmitter, the Salamander command pod, Tundra Logistics Pioneer Center, that sort of thing. This facility here is the medical bay, so just in case that we have any mishaps with timing of habitation and things like that, we can use this to make sure that our Kerbals are going to be just fine and able to habitate this place for quite a while to come. Beyond that, we have an expandable habitat module, which we started out as expanded. So cheating just a little bit as far as that's concerned, in that we started a lot of these pieces expanded because they were going to cost a lot of additional machinery and so forth. That said, it doesn't actually come with machinery, but it doesn't cost me the material kits and so forth to expand it. You know what I mean? So that does make things a little bit easier. Little hub module in the middle here. We have another Kerbitat. This one's set to common. That's going to be a common space. And this Kerbitat is going to be a purifier. So this is going to be kind of a, what do you call it? It's going to be used to do a lot of the reprocessing. I figure we're going to have a really high value for the Kerbal habitation time on this vessel, so that it can be kind of a core place for my Kerbals to hang out. Another habitat on the other side of here, and then the colonization module. So like I said, this is going to be kind of the home base, so this is where we will be producing more Kerbals, if you know what I mean. Finally, we have a giant tank of water, which we will use for the purifier. So this is going to be used to kind of store some of the additional water on site that we drill up from the Southern Sea. So yeah, other than that, it's just some inflatable storage modules to hold onto all these lovely resources that we will be deploying, but this is almost entirely habitation and life support systems that will be used for all of the Kerbals that we have. Okay, so with the building of the Botany Lab and Duna Central completed, the next thing that I think we need to go do is secure ourselves a source of power. However, all of the little bits that we have in this area that would need materials are built. So we don't actually need any more of the resource kits or anything else, the material kits or anything else that is out here. So now I think it is time for us to do a little bit of work in kind of moving stuff, I guess. I want to kind of get an idea of what we have around us. So let's just take a look really quick. Here's what we have on the Geo Rover. We have some supplies. And we are sharing supplies a little bit from that little brief flash there. The Geo Rover has a whole bunch of material kits because they're attached by hose to this. Okay, Duna Central has nothing. That's fine. What else? The Duna Express Lander Probe. Wow, stumbled right over that one. Caribou Supply Crawler can only carry about 16,000 material kits. So here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna point to the Geo Rover, and from this Duna Express Lander Probe, we're gonna take all the material kits. So I believe that should have been this, in theory. There's 600, so let's turn off local warehouse. I can't turn on or off anything because this thing is dead, and now it has more material kits. That's pretty cool. Okay, I've transferred some to Duna Central because this has local warehouse toggled on, and it's getting resources pushed to it, and I don't want that to be the case. So, we've got that turned off. That is wonderful. Now it's time to drive our engineer, Frandy Kerman, over there, and we are going to blow this thing up because it is no longer necessary. Because we want to clean up as much as we can. Okay, hopping out on EVA. We want to also, before we walk, inventory, we want to grab one of these explosives, throw it in Frandy's inventory along with a screwdriver. Equip. And now we're getting this attached. Beautiful. Let's just double check really quick. All right, we're looking good. So let's go ahead now and recycle the vessel. Poof, there we go. So that's one more down. Fantastic. And the next thing that we are going to be destroying, and ooh, looks like I actually get to save one of these demolition charges because they're on mirrored. Is this little kit that I used for a little bit of ore and a little bit of, what do you call it, specialized parts. I've taken those specialized parts and I've thrown them into the botany lab so we can demolish vessel. Wait, okay, good. Whew, I'm glad that worked the same. Wait, that demolished into recyclables, so I think that was my bad. I pressed the wrong button there, but that's fine. We will survive without a little bit of those material kits. I'm finding that I actually have more material kits than I had expected. I cannot get stood up. I have more material kits than I expected because this, the Geo Rover is actually fairly full of material kits still. I still have 45,000 and the candle crane has 34,000 machinery in it. That's not actually important in any way, but yeah, so I have more materials than I thought I was going to at this stage, so I feel like I should just kind of pack the rover full and, you know, take it on the road because we don't actually need this stuff here. And see what I can get out of this with the hopes that I could salvage this as well. Alright, the supply crawler is stocked up about as much as it's going to get, and it looks like I just have extra material kits, so yeah, we will leave this here and kind of see what we need to do with that, because I'm not super worried about how much material kits we're kind of leaving on this part, right? We can have people here, it's fine. But what I want to do now is we are going to send some folks outside. I probably didn't actually need to do that. We're going to send some folks outside to disconnect this so that the Geo Rover can move on to its next location. Alright, so that has been unlinked, and now we are going to be jumping back inside the rover and taking this show on the road. Probably in the morning so we can actually see what we're doing. Alright, another morning has dawned on Duna's surface, and we are now taking the Geo Rover on the road. So let's retract this ladder. We will save the game. We've got the sun shining, we've got the batteries charged, or charging anyways. dies pretty badly overnight. I want to check something just real quick. No, I don't think that actually works that way. Yeah, so we have to drive with this thing out because blah, I guess. Yeah, it just doesn't seem to work that way. What are you doing? You're going all pigeon-toed on me. Control from here, please and thank you. Yes, indeed. All right. So, we are now going to be moving. Shoom. Before we drive away, let's get that specialized parts. Let's go ahead and fill up specialized parts from the botany lab so that we have stuff to do any local manufacturing that we need as we drive away. I'm not actually sure which one has what. I'm pretty sure the lowlands is going to be the one that has the power station, which is the next thing that we need to build. So we will be heading out towards that ever so slowly. Brakes aren't on, are they? Controlling from the right place. We're probably dragging this habitat on the ground. Can I retract this? Refuses to work due to homesickness. Fantastic. Yeah, this is what I'm starting to get worried about with the habitation timers and such. Are they going to be absolutely dunzo? Still tourists? Or the engineers again? Look like they're engineers again, maybe? Start hab? Okay, we have time, but I'm not 100% sure. Well, I'm hoping that this still works. Guess we're going to find out. But we will find out in the next episode, because I am all out of time. So we will kind of futz around and, oh dear, I will break this apparently. But yeah, so we'll catch back up on this one next time. If you enjoyed this episode, please share and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.